Yay.
Okay, officially live, and we've got a couple comments here at first. Hi, Vince. Says you're looking forward to Carly rejoining Seth. Well, Seth isn't here
No,
today.
Seth.
I quit. There was a last minute change, so I'm here for Seth. But hello, Carly has returned. Here she
Hey,
is.
Michael. Yay.
Heaven. Oh, sorry to hear that, Michael. I'm excited that you're here for the podcast and you can join us, though.
Right. Hopefully this will cheer you
We'll
up
wait
today.
just a little bit longer for some. Yes. Wait for a couple more people to join in and then we'll do it.
Perfect. Oh,
I
Michael,
know we'll talk about it in a second, but for anybody that joined us earlier, you just got off a red eye. Where were you flying from?
Los Angeles. I'm a little tired, but I'll be fine. I'm going to take a nap after this.
Oh, that sounds good. Was it a good flight, though? Like, I mean, they've had all the Southwest scares and Christmas and stuff. So. Good. Okay.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
That's the reason I always ask for a window seat is I'm a little taller, and so I just get the window seat. I'm like, if I'm in the aisle, I lean to someone. I don't want the middle. So I always just try and grab the window and just out for the whole time if possible.
If I am sleeping, I do love the window seat because you feel all like nestled up inside of there. It's perfect. Yeah. Oh yes.
All right, we've got a couple.
Parks.
Yes, I was watching that from the beginning. Well, I think I found him the second or third day, but
yeah,
I was kind of blown away.
I don't know how he did all the attractions. Like, I understand the logistics of going to each park. I don't know how he did everything. I don't know.
Yeah, it's that was some insane planning and a little bit of luck too. I mean, there had to be some luck involved in that for weather or delays, but I was like, it's a good thing he did it before today because he would have had to add Tron.
Right. I was like, how is he going to get it through everything? I have no idea.
I don't know. Wild. But looks like we got enough people in here. Let's go ahead and start this thing.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 183 of the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and MEI-Travel. I'm Carly.
And I'm Farren.
And we are here to talk to you about all the latest, all the greatest in the whole world of theme park news and more, and a little bit about what's going on in our own lives. So, what have you been up to? I think you did some really cool stuff this week.
Yes, I had some pretty awesome stuff. So I got to go and do Disney's All the Thrills event that they had, which is the opening of Tron, as well as going to the Roundup Rodeo barbecue preview, which was a lot of fun for me because if anyone saw, I actually was part of the filming for the B-roll for that. So it was very funny to go back inside.
So you're in the commercial?
Yeah, I haven't seen an official commercial yet, but I was on Good Morning America when they were doing the preview. And then when Disney sent out the B-roll, it's me like, here's your food.
It
was so much fun.
There. It was really cute. It's a good
And the restaurant, for anyone that we have a full video that talks about it online, if anyone wants to learn more, it's so cute inside. And it really fits the Toy Story theme. We got to try a little bit of food. Their cheddar biscuits were amazing.
And there's like a jelly or something that comes
Yes,
with it?
that's what made them so good. It's a pepper jelly, I want to say. And it was fantastic. Way better than because, you hear biscuits at a theme park and sometimes you think it's going to be the generic. They were fluffy. They were really well made. And the jelly, every bit about that was fantastic.
That's amazing. Did you try any of the plant-based stuff?
So we didn't get to try some of the plant-based stuff. Some of the people that we knew that did said they liked it, but we didn't get a huge overview of that. But I will say the food that I tried was overall pretty good. The only thing that I thought was kind of so-so was the pork ribs. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't mind-blowing either.
Right. I mean, it's really hard to do barbecue, but like Disney does really good barbecue, which is shocking. Mm-hmm. Like you have Regal Eagle, you have Polite Pig. So I was kind of holding it to like a pretty high standard.
Yeah.
They can do it. We've seen it.
And we learned something crazy on that trip too, is that if you go on the Disney Wish, they have barbecue on the Disney Wish. That is not done by Disney. When we were talking to some of their chefs,
What?
the barbecue on that is made by Four Rivers here in Orlando.
Wait, Four Rivers, like I did not know that.
Yeah. We learned that too, and we're like, what? And they were like, yeah, well, we decided when we were building the ship there wasn't enough room, so we looked for local people to do it, so they could do it, if Disney could do it, and they decided it was easier just to buy it from someone. So if you like Four Rivers and you've ever been on the Disney Wish where you're going to go, that is them. They buy it, package it all up that day, and stick it on the ship. They make some stuff in-house, but they were like, a majority of their meats are done all by Four Rivers. And that was one of the craziest facts we learned. It wasn't even about the event.
Crazy. So I went on the Disney Wish and I had the barbecue and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. And that's in like the food court area of the pool. That is crazy.
Yes, I thought that was interesting that they were open about that they didn't make it and that they were kind of like, yeah, no, Four Rivers, if you guys like it, that's who's doing it.
Well, at least they're hiring from the best. And
yes.
Well, I had a little bit of fun this weekend. I hit up Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, and Universal Studios Hollywood. So definitely going to be talking about some of that. I was at the opening of Toontown, so that was really cool. But yeah, so I think without any further ado, let us get into the news. Okay, this is what had everyone talking about this week. We have some very, very big meet and greet news coming to Walt Disney World. This is, we all say be fair to Florida. I feel like they're being fair.
They're finally being fair. And we'll actually talk about that in a second too, kind of with Toontown as well. They're adding some more characters. Yes. Finally.
Yes, this is I feel long overdue. It's crazy how we're things are so popular, like in Encanto, and then it takes so long for it to come to Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
So basically the 411 is that Mirabelle, Moana, and Figment meet and greets are coming to Walt Disney World later this year. So the Moana meet and greet is going to be at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
And it's coming very soon.
Yes, that one is coming very soon, April 22nd, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a fan of Moana and you want to meet her, you're going to have to go to Disney's Animal Kingdom. They're going to have a really cool backdrop, which I really appreciate this. There's going to be authentic woven tapestries and other props to reflect the cultural heritage of Pacific Islander people.
And then we're also getting Mirabelle, and this is the only negative I see to this entire thing, is that if you love Merida, Disney didn't explicitly say it, but her new location is in the exact spot that Merida is currently meeting. So we're assuming that Merida's permanent meet and greet location is going away. I'm sure she'll just be moved into the regular princess meet and greet sections.
Right.
But if you liked her specific area, it is going in that spot, and I don't see them sharing.
Right. So we think it's going to be a swap. That's probably what's going to happen. So unfortunately, get there now if you want to do that. But then also Mirabelle's coming. So this is very
and her casita.
Yes. So she's already been at Disneyland. So finally, this is where we can say you are fair to Florida.
Yes. So we'll be able to do a permanent meet and greets with her daily. She's going to have her casita from Encanto that you'll be able to go and see. I'm excited to see how they kind of rebuild that in that space.
Yeah.
And as we've had her in little bits, we've had her in the cavalcade, but it's nice she'll be doing official meet and greets now. So that's always nice to hear.
No, that's great.
Earlier I had said too that we hadn't gotten new characters. That was kind of a lie. I mean, we did just get Mando and Grogu. And we're getting Powerline Max, and the Incredibles are meeting. So that was kind of unfair for me to say. We have gotten a lot, but I'm happy to see that as of January of this year, we have gotten a lot.
Yes. And then the big news, Figment is going to be doing a meet and greet once again at Epcot. So if you are a longtime Disney fan, you know that you could have met Figment many times, but he has been non-existent in recent years. And people are so upset because he is the icon of the park. With all his merch. He hosts food festivals. Why have we not been able to meet him?
And I hope it's going to be the full-size Figment, because we've also had two versions of Figment. We've had a big size you come up and hug, and we've had little Figment that was with Dreamfinder. So I'm kind of hoping it's bigger Figment. I kind of assume it is.
Me too. I hope so. I feel like that'll be easier because I don't know. I can't see them bringing back Dreamfinder.
Yeah.
Can't see it, but so hopefully that will be a full-size figgy so we can all wear our merch, wear our popcorn buckets, and meet our favorite little purple dragon.
Exactly. And speaking of Epcot,
Mm-hmm.
Epcot is getting up. They announced some new stuff, but they were kind of vague about it. But they're getting a new nighttime fireworks show that has a very cool piece of concept art. Didn't really say anything about it, but we are getting officially a new nighttime show by the end of the year. And Epcot was officially named as the icon park for Walt Disney World for the Disney 100 celebration.
Yes. So Epcot has been a little bit of a cluster in recent times. If you have been, it's a lot of construction walls. There's a lot that was, put on hold during COVID, and you have to walk all the way around because it's like everything is a construction zone. But it's exciting to finally have some good news coming out of there. And then also, I noticed some people online were like, "Why did they knock everything down just to rebuild it again?"
Yeah.
So it's essentially buildings are coming back. It's not going to be what we had originally thought and were promised it to be, but hopefully this means that we could freely roam Epcot without all the construction walls.
Yes. And BioReconstruct on Twitter recently went and got some photos over Epcot, and you can see some of the pathways for the Moana experience, the Journey of Water. And it looks like it's a lot farther along than everything else. So while they said that's coming late fall, they could push it that way, but it looks like they might be done with that actually sooner than they even expected. So maybe we could see some of the stuff here with the new Communicore Hall. That might be still coming later, because if you've been into the parks recently, it's definitely still just a lot of steel. But who knows? We might be able to see Moana a little bit sooner. So it looks nice, and we're going to have the character meet and greet experience there again. I feel like that kind of kills the Play Pavilion. I thought that the Play Pavilion was going to be the new character center, so I feel that's kind of the nail in the coffin for that. But maybe not. Maybe we'll just see a different iteration of it. But
definitely. And they also said World Celebration is going to be the anchor of the park's food festival. So Epcot International Food and Wine Festival, and also Festival of the Arts. So I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that, but if you remember old school Epcot, they did have some festival booths and such inside the buildings. So I'm excited to see, hopefully we'll get some of those more like interactive elements of the festivals back, like the seminars and such. So I'm hoping that that is what that means.
Yeah, I really like the seminars, even for the flower and garden. Like, even if I've never planted a large scale garden, but sometimes it'd be interesting just to sit there and be like, okay, next time I have 10 acres dedicated to flower.
Right, exactly.
I'll know exactly how to do this. Like,
no,
it was nice to watch.
I love going in there, and they would have like merch booths, and just like it was really cool just to learn about stuff. Like, I don't know anything about gardening. I don't know anything about that, but it's fun to just kind of, immerse yourself. And the educational aspect is what makes, all of Epcot's food and wine festivals so unique. Yeah. So hopefully we will get some of that back.
Yep. And for anyone that's watching, they can see that we pulled the concept art up of the upcoming nighttime spectacular, and it looks pretty. I mean, I know this is very vague concept art with very vague. I mean, we don't know song, story, name, nothing. We just know later this year. It looks like they have some fountains, but I can't tell if those are supposed to be fountains or if they're just supposed to be additional fireworks. Either way, I mean, we're getting another new show at Epcot in 3 years.
Right. I'm like, oh, just give me illuminations, please.
Yeah, I would be happy if they brought some of those back. I also, if they could have moved the barges, I would have been all for Harmonious staying. I actually love the soundtrack and I love the story. The barges were the big thing, which I know is the huge part of the show, but if they could have done something with those barges, I feel like it would have saved the show. But I think that's the same problem that they had, is they couldn't figure out a way to save the barges.
Right. And it's, it's like they can't move them in and out every day. Mm-hmm. So it was just, I mean, I get it. I heard like also, which is crazy. So like Disney weddings is a big thing. And a lot of Epcot is what people use to do their photos and stuff. And I heard a lot of people were upset when they were doing their photos. And then in the background, there's this like insane barge. And I'm like, you know
that makes sense.
I would be upset too if I spent all that money to do a photo shoot inside Epcot and then there are these insane barges.
Yeah, if you wanted to have like France or something way in the background, instead you've got like these oil rigs sitting in the way, I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't know about this one, guys.
Disney World oil rigs.
Yeah.
But I think it's exciting. I feel like whatever they figure out will work. Hopefully, it's a learning lesson, and I love Harmonious, so I will be sad to see it go, but we love new things. And then also, Dreamer's Point is coming. So at D23, we got to see the Walt Disney statue that is going to be coming. And so it's Walt the Dreamer, and it is really, really cool. So
I'm excited to see that in the park.
Yes. Oh, this is wonderful. It's a beautiful statue. It's like a life-size Walt Disney. And so that is going to be home at World Celebration. So
perfect. And now we can jump on over to the Magic Kingdom and start looking at Tron, which started soft opening today.
Yay! How many times did you go on it?
During the event, I went on 6 times. So that was a ton of fun. It was my first time trying the very front because during the pass holder previews, I had gotten close. But the absolute all the way in the front that one's either my favorite or the accessible seats all the way in the back because they're 2 totally different experiences.
Really?
So I like the accessible seats a lot, actually. You got more of like a throw in your chest from the initial launch. And I love watching the vehicles in front of you. You can kind of watch their tires, whatever you want to call them, like the glowing elements of the vehicles. I thought that was really cool. It kind of gave a better view, but the front of any launching coaster is kind of
right. Exactly. I like that. Like when I do on a new roller coaster, I always will do the front first and then the back because I like to see the experience because it really is different. It's like the same with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It's a totally different experience.
Totally different.
If you're in the front and if you're in the back. And I feel like for Tron, if I am, you have to do a virtual queue or you have to purchase the individual lightning lane. I feel like if I'm going to purchase it, I'm going to probably want to wait and get that row.
Today it was $20 for the lightning lane. So if you're paying $20 a person, I'm going to ask for a specific spot.
Oh, absolutely. I don't mind that. I love doing the individual lightning lane purchases, and the same with Cosmic Rewind. It's like you miss some of the queue, but to be able to just like quickly access the attraction is very cool.
I will say, if you're going on Tron to do the lightning lane, you will not miss the queue. You will only miss a very small portion. And it's just got pictures on the wall that talks about red team, but you don't go up against red team. It's blue team versus orange team. So if you want these tiny little details that you'll see, but it's not like Flight of Passage. When you go on Flight of Passage and you do the lightning lane, you skip a huge portion of the queue. That was so cool. If you go on Tron, trust me, you're not missing that much. So if you want to get the lightning lane, don't be worried about that. You're going to see it. You still get the really cool pre-show, which I won't ruin, but it's quick. It's like 20 seconds, but it's cool.
So did you like it better at night?
Oh, at night, 100%. There's no question. If you have the choice for your lightning lane, your virtual queue, and you can do daytime or nighttime, 100% pick nighttime. There's nothing wrong with daytime. It's kind of cool. If you've ever seen those pictures of the sun, when it goes through the roof, turns like neon red. For whatever reason, the material they used, it just makes it look cool. But nighttime, to go out on the light cycles and go into this glowing blue and orange aura above you and everyone, and it's amazing. If you don't get a lightning lane for that time, just go back at night to see it, because the Imagineers did a fantastic job linking up the lights and the music, and it's that's
the thing. Like, I feel like if I'm purchasing a lightning lane, I would want to ride it in the evening. But the issue is, you can modify your normal Genie Plus selections. You can't modify an individual lightning lane purchase. So you can't change the time on that. So I guess you would have to just kind of rapidly check to the times to make sure, like, if you really wanted to go do it at night, which would be risky because I feel like it could be gone in a second, Yeah,
I feel these opening couple of months, you're kind of just going to have to gamble and hope that you get it. Once it's been out for a couple, 6 months, 7 months, and people have had that extreme rush, I think it'll be a lot more possible, and then you can really pick. But yeah, at first, I feel like you just have to click the button as fast as possible. If you're trying to get a lightning lane or the virtual queue, just kind of
get what you get, and you don't get upset.
Yeah.
Did you see Mickey and Minnie in their Tron outfits?
So I saw Mickey from afar. I was actually, before I was getting on this, I was actually uploading a video that's going up soon we walked by Donald in his suit. We walked by Goofy and he was dancing on the stage. And then we actually got to meet Minnie. They look so good. And I really hope that wasn't just for the media event. I hope at night they can kind of come out because they were really, really good costumes. And it just matched so well. And then they had a DJ there. And I know, what was it, a year and a half, 2 years ago, they had the DJ on Main Street and everybody hated that. But if they had the DJ in Tomorrowland for Tron, it was fantastic, and it remixed some of the music, and it was really getting people into it. If they bring that at night, I feel like that'd be a great way to break up some crowds this summer over in Tomorrowland. So I hope that's in the plans because the characters were fantastic. The meet and greets, the music, it matched really well.
Did you get to try any food from the new stand?
We did not. I really thought it was going to be there. They had delicious jumbo shrimp at the event, but they none of the food from it. So I hope I do get to try that because I'm so glad it's not a popcorn stand.
Oh, same. And like they've had really good food over the years in Tomorrowland. Like way back in the day, there was some sort of like pepperoni pizza hot pocket thing. And so these new things are like shumai, right? Like if they're little like dumpling dim sum sort of shumai, and they look really good.
And a watermelon like slushy drink. So
yeah.
I was so happy that it wasn't because I in my mind I was like, it's such a cool stand, and I was like, we're gonna get an amazing probably popcorn bucket, and it's gonna be themed to Tron. It's gonna be great, but it's another popcorn stand. But it wasn't. So Disney surprised us. I'm so happy to see that surprise, as well as the merch. Have you seen some of the merch?
Oh, the merch is so good. Yes,
they went nuts with it.
It's really amazing. It makes me sad because like Cosmic Rewind got no good merch, nothing, and it was like I wish they had this amazing merch like they have with Tron, because it is like I want to buy everything. You know?
Yeah, and I was blown away because I was like, oh, we're either going to get retro Tron or modern Tron, and they were like, no, we'll just give you everything. Also, this one interacts, and this one includes a picture of your face where you get to go do a full experience, and you can change the different types of audio, and then you can take the light or the ring, the circle, what I can't think of what it's called, but you stick that on your back, on the backpack, and it becomes a DJ booth. And I was like, whoa, hold on.
No, they pulled out literally all the stops. It is like, take all my money, make it rain. I want every single thing that's in there.
Yeah, I'm going to lose a lot of money when it officially opens. So,
oh yes. So officially opening April 2nd, but like you said, it is in a soft open now. So that could also mean that you might not get to experience it.
And I will say it showed 6 p.m. as its closing time on their website. I don't know if they'll keep that. That might have been their safe. We're not selling lightning lanes after 6 in case something goes wrong and we can keep operating it. But just so you guys know, even according to Disney, it technically closed at 6, which is not going to hit the sunlight right now that I think about it. It's not going to be at night.
No, it's not going to be at night yet. But if you get to experience it early, that's great. I'm happy that it's like ready to go and whatnot. So that's awesome. And then for our final news in the queue, I went to Knott's Boysenberry Festival.
Yes.
So I love Knott's Berry Farm. It is one of the oldest theme parks. The history there is insane. And their Boysenberry Festival, they have really great festivals. Their Boysenberry Festival is one of my favorites. They have over 100 items, food and drink, that are boysenberry themed. And this year alone, I think there was something like 30 brand new items, and they kind of go all out. So they'll have like simple stuff like fried corn nuggets with a boysenberry glaze, like a caprese flatbread with boysenberry balsamic. And then they'll have like a sushi burrito, which I don't even know. Blows my mind. I did not try that. I'm a little skeptic of theme park sushi, but it is amazing. And their portions are literally like a full massive plate. So it's not like Epcot portions. It is full sized items. And I did the tasting lanyard. So you got to try 6 different items, and it was wonderful. There was a boysenberry bread pudding that was really good. They had like all the boysenberry beers from like a hazy IPA to their usual like lagers and blonde ales. It is just a great festival. Have you been there?
Yeah, I have been to Knott's Berry Farm once in my life, and it was during the Boysenberry Festival, and it was the perfect time to go. I got sold, and anytime I go to California now, I'm definitely going to do that. If you guys haven't been, I didn't visit Disneyland in the 80s, but everyone has told me that it's Disneyland in the 1980s, the way that they do their entertainment and they offer some of their shows. Right. And their boysenberry food is so good. Kind of stinks because they sell their boysenberry cookies like here in Florida, and it doesn't.
The boysenberry cookies are so good. We actually in the park. There's one of the items this year is a boysenberry ice cream sandwich, and they they knock out all the baked items there are insane because it's all made in house, and it's like that's just kind of the fundamentals of Knott's Berry Farm. It's just like super good like home style cooking, and they have these sugar cookies that is stuffed with boysenberry soft serve. And I went out of my body and had like an out of this world experience trying it. It was so good, and it's just a great festival and just a really cool park. And a lot of Walt Disney got a lot of his inspiration from that. He would go there like day after day to kind of just like see how things are working, what can we do differently. It's also the home of the first ever themed queue. So basically, why we have amazing queues at Disney is because of Knott's Berry Farm, because they figured out like, oh, we should make people wait in a cool area that's immersive and themed, and the attraction starts as they're waiting. So Knott's Berry Farm is just amazing.
And if anyone's ever thinking of going there, just know that it is not far at all. When I went, it was like a 15, 20-minute Uber, if that, from Disneyland. So it's very, very close. It's not like Universal Studios Hollywood. You got to fight some of the traffic in a bit to get up to that area. It's still not bad, but Knott's Berry Farm is very close to Disneyland. I would 100% recommend adding it onto your next Disneyland trip.
Definitely. So it's like there's not as many hotels there. So usually I'll stay by Disneyland and then just take an Uber or Lyft to Knott's.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. And then, yes, there is an exclusive boysenberry Squishmallow, which I did purchase.
Oh.
So I'm into Squishmallows. I love Squishmallows. They're so cute. So they have Knott's actually partnered with them and made a little boysenberry one. And it is so cute.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
When it comes to boysenberry, their food, their events, their shows, and now, of course, the merch, that they really are killing it. I feel like
And they
doing really
also
good.
do a lot of what I like during the festivals. They do a lot of kind of like viral moments waiting to happen. Like last year, there was like this $50 fried chicken sandwich. This year, they did it's a baked potato that's like stuffed with all of like the Knott's classic dinner. So it's like pulled chicken, mashed potatoes, boysenberry, gravy. And it was like this big. My friend and I got it. And we had like 2 bites and it looks like we didn't try any of it. It was crazy. So go to Boysenberry Festival. It is amazing. They have a brand new show called Preserved, which is a musical. And it is just like the whole history of Walter and Cordelia Knott, like coming to Southern California and starting a theme park. So gotta go there.
That's so cool. Okay.
Yeah. It is really awesome. So that's all we have for you this week with the news in the queue. It wasn't a crazy amount of announcements, but before we get to the main attraction, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
Yes. So after a long period of time, Mickey's Toontown is finally open at Disneyland Park. So this is, if you haven't been there, it is the kid-centric area of the park. It is amazing. I got to go to the media preview on Saturday, and I loved it.
I was creeping on all the photos and videos, and it looks like they did a really, really good job.
Right. So I said it's almost like they did too good of a job, because I don't know how you can get your kid to leave the area. Like truly, there's so many areas and I can just see them not wanting to leave. And I'm like, oh my God, if I just spent $1,000 for my family to come here and they only want to stay in Toontown, it is that good. There's so many little playscapes, a lot of grass, a lot of shade, a lot of interactive features. It is a really, really good land. And I'm so happy they did this. It was much needed. There's a lot of space to kind of just like run around, which I'm sure is much needed if you have kids there,
Definitely necessary if you got a bunch of kids. That's kind of what I'm saying is, especially like you said, it would stink if you just bought tickets, but for pass holders, and Disneyland is definitely a pass holder park.
Right.
How great is it that you'll be able to just take your kids in here now? And if you just want to sit and let them go nuts.
Yes.
And I saw a video of Goofy was actually over and just spinning a kid in one of the spinning seats. And I was like, that's such a Disneyland thing right there. It's just, you're just playing around in the playground and Goofy shows up. And he's like, oh, hey, how's it going?
Oh, definitely. The character interaction is amazing. And we got to see Pete. So he was hanging out. I'm like, oh my God, it's Pete. It was really cool. And then also have to make a mention, Cafe Daisy is the new restaurant that's in there. It's a quick service spot. It's just like a window kiosk. You can mobile order. The food was so good. So this is a refreshing thing because, a lot of times you're in, wherever in Disneyland and you can only grab like a churro or a pretzel as your kids are running around. You can actually get legit food. They have these pizza flop over. I don't know. It's like a pizza that's folded. We tried the pepperoni one. It was delicious. It was like a middle school pizza in your cafeteria. but like
Okay.
elevated. It was so good. And we also tried the loaded daisy hot dog, which had like mac and cheese on it. That was really good. And then we tried the kids pepperoni pizza, and they put the little pepperonis on it in the shape of Mickey, and
Mm.
it's so cute. It's like definitely like a Tokyo Disneyland looking snack. So it is a wonderful addition.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Was your favorite the pizza, or was that the only one you got to try, or was there?
We tried a bunch. I think the pizza
Okay.
was my favorite, and it's also like $9.99 before the Magic Key discount. So that's a pretty, and it was pretty big. There was a few of us
Okay.
splitting stuff, so it's definitely like a pretty good deal, and the rates are reasonable. And then of
Okay.
course you have all the attractions in there. So it's the Chippendale Gadget Coaster. So they rethemed it. That was great. It's a good little, kids coaster. We went on it. I sat front row, had a great time. And then you have Roger Rabbit, which is one of my favorite dark attractions.
Yeah.
Have you gone on it?
I did. It's funny. The Go Coaster, Gadget Go Coaster, was the first ride I ever did in Disneyland. I don't know how on earth our family made it that far back in the park before we got on a ride, but we did. And
Right.
that was the first one I ever did. So when I heard they were redoing it, I was like, I'll have to go and try the new looking version. But yes.
Definitely, yeah. But like you said, yeah, it's such an obscure part of the park, because it's tucked away past. It's a small world past Fantasyland
Mhm.
Theater, and it has its own little entrance to get into Toontown. So it is definitely like a little area that you could totally miss, if you didn't know it was
Yeah.
there. And then they have Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which is largely the same as Hollywood Studios version, but the queue is insane. It is the most like detailed queue they've done in a long time.
Yeah, I am definitely making it out to Disneyland soon. Actually, not just Disneyland. I'm kind of doing what you just did. That's the trip I want to do soon, is just to be able to go to Knott's and Disneyland, and I got to go see Super Nintendo World soon.
Yeah.
All of those, California, I think this last time you and I hosted the podcast, we talked that California is the place to go this year.
It really is. And it's like, I know so many people like plan their big Walt Disney World trip. Now is the time to go to Southern California to visit just like the whole trifecta. You can also throw in Magic Mountain if you feel so inclined, if you love roller coasters. But there's so many new things there that it's just like, it's the perfect time to visit. Super Nintendo World is still very busy.
Yeah.
So like, keep that in mind when you're going. It is definitely not, it's hard to experience it all when it's that busy, but it is an incredible land. So I feel like now is the time. Go to Southern California. Don't do Disney World. Go to Southern California. Do Disneyland. Do Toontown. And it's also DCA Food and Wine Festival, which I got to try some of the food and drinks there. There's an amazing. Have you seen? It's the blueberry pancake cold brew.
I saw pictures of it, yes.
It was so good. So I don't know why they do this, but not at Epcot. They do insane cold brew, not like cocktails. Like I guess they're non-alcoholic, but just like really cool recipes with their cold brew drinks at the food festivals at Disneyland. Last year there was like this one with orange foam. This year's the blueberry pancake, and there's a few other ones. I wish they would do that at Epcot festivals too, because it's all Joffrey's.
Yeah, Joffrey's they'll do like somewhat different ones at Epcot, and they'll have a couple of things, but it doesn't seem like it's to that scale.
No, and not to that scale. And it's so good. I didn't get to try the corn crema ice pop. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, so it's basically the last year they did like a guacamole avocado ice pop. This year it's an alouette paleta. So it is basically like a riff on the corn that has like the mayo and all the seasoning on it.
Yeah.
And so this year it's a corn pop. It's like a frozen on a stick pop, and then it's topped with a crema and seasoning. I didn't try it because I saw some people trying it on videos and they immediately threw it out. So I was like, oh, this sounds disgusting. I don't want like mayo on my ice pop.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those things kind of you were saying for Knott's. Like it's their viral thing. You've got to try your frozen corn snack.
You have to try your frozen corn pop, but there's so many other great foods. They really do a nice job with incorporating like impossible vegan and plant-based options. I know Disney World does that too, have that like impossible ribs, but they really do a great job of having a lot of different food items that are all like dietary friendly and whatnot. But It is a great time. Gotta go to Toontown. I literally spent like 4 hours in there, which was crazy because it's like it's a kid's land. So I was like, maybe I'll be occupied for a little while. But like, you can go into Mickey's house, you can go into Minnie's house, and it's so cool. Like just walking through their houses is insane. It's amazing.
From those pictures and stuff that I've seen, it seems like it matches the queue a lot, where they put so many details that even adults can go around for the longest time and just find stuff. If you're a true Disney fan, you can keep going on and on and on and keep discovering things. And the one thing I want to add, because if not, I'll forget about it, is this tweet, Magic Band Maniac on Twitter, the Power Limes, the candy that they are now selling in Toontown at California is also at Epcot.
Yes.
So Florida did get some of the Toontown candy, and thank you, Disney. Thank you for that. So we don't have to say be fair to Florida, because they were like, no, we'll give you the candy too. So we don't get the queue, but I am so glad that A, they made the candy, and B, they're sending it to Florida. So I am going out sometime this week, and I'm going to go and try and find this candy if it hasn't already sold out.
Please.
But I had to mention that.
What is it like? Is it like an Airhead?
I think so. It seems like they just took candies that we know, like the top 5 probably most best-selling candies they had in the park, and they're like, well, let's just spin and make our own version, because why not? Yeah, and they were able to add the theming, and I'm like, that's a really cool idea, and I hope enough people see it and recognize it in the park so it stays around, because if Disney wants to do highly themed candy, I love that Disney has a thing for merchandise. Some people say that they try to sell anything and everything, but to be honest, that's what makes it great, is because then you can buy anything and everything. Right. Like we've just seen with Tron and the picnic basket.
Oh, absolutely. And they had new merch for Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, and there's a new store there, and they really did a great job. There's some really, I resisted purchasing. There's also like a popcorn bucket that looks like a popcorn, like the red and white striped, like really vintage, really cool popcorn bucket. I almost purchased it because I was like, oh, this could be a really good purse, because it's so cute. So they really knocked it out of the park with this land. Everyone, go to Toontown. It is awesome. So before we go, we want to thank our sponsor, MEI and MEI-Travel. And please, if you have your phone out, just quickly hop on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave us a review or a rating. So if you want to find more coverage from us and Attractions Magazine on the interwebs, where can we find you?
I am at Tharin White, and as I'll say every time, you can basically just follow Attractions. I just retweet and comment about what they say anyway. Right. So follow us that way.
Yes. And I am at Carly Caramana on Twitter, and on Instagram, I am at Adventures by Carly. So until next week, I hope everyone stays safe, try something new, and most importantly, have fun.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in for our short show, but a lot of stuff.